Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day of our 21-day personal leadership retreat with the theme In the Light of the Seven. And I am your facilitator, Iku Olokbo. This retreat is organized by our Family Care Foundation. Our Family Care Foundation is a non-governmental organization in Nigeria that focuses on facilitating deeper connection, intimacy, healing, and all the beautiful things that should exist within the family. We know the challenge that the institution of the family is facing in this time, and that is why we have the belief that when the individual in the family is empowered, the family is empowered, the community is empowered, and the nation is empowered. So there is a ripple effect on the work we do on the individual as it pertains family, community, and the nation. So this retreat is called the personal retreat for that reason, because we are targeting individuals first of all, and we are using the light of the seven. That is the as the theme. That's the seven visible planets in the sky. And the reason being that when you are in the dark, you always seek the light. And we understand that the ancient ones, our ancestors, whenever they are in the dark, they always contemplate with the stars. They look up in the stars at night. Even in the Bible, you hear about the three wise men following the stars to find baby Jesus. And so the astrology was a big thing back then. So it's not as if they worshipped the stars, but they attributed certain characteristics to each of the stars they saw. So from the sun to the moon to Venus to Mars to Mercury, Jupiter and Saturn and all these other celestial bodies in the sky, they attributed certain meanings to them, and they knew that those meanings align with certain characteristics that an individual can embody. And you would notice that most institutions are built around these seven bodies. When you're talking about Mercury, when you're talking about Mars and all these other planets, you see that they represent institutions, they represent organizations, they represent, for instance, Mars represents the armed forces. Okay, the armed forces of every country is Mars, because Mars has to do with war, it has to do with defense, it has to do with protection. Okay, and we have the sun and all that. So on Sunday, day one, we talked about the sun, which is the core value. On Monday, we talked about the moon, which represents our emotion, and we remember that we use our emotion to make deeper and genuine connection. And then Tuesday, we talked about Mars, which has to do with defense, protection, and security. So today being Wednesday, we just did a quick recap of that for those who are just joining us for the first time in this 21-day retreat. This is day 4. And today we are talking about Mercury. Mercury is a planet that is attributed to communication and information. Communication and information is a big deal in our world today. So today we are going to be reflecting on communication and information. Mercury is the god that takes messages to the gods from humans, and from humans back to the god in the ancient times. So you see the depiction of Mercury with wings on his feet in Greek mythology and all that. So what we are saying is information is key for countries. You see that every country has a ministry of information where they communicate their values, they communicate their activities. So you see organizations always have a spokesperson, okay? And you see media is a big deal when you talk about CNN, BBC, and each country has a television station that represents their voice, their ideal, their culture, and all that, just like Nigeria has NTA. Okay, so as we reflect on information and communication today, what we are looking at is what role is information and communication playing in whatever you are building. So you have to check yourself. Are you a vendor, a young entrepreneur who is always quarreling with their clients? Most times when we go online, especially in little services around on the internet in Nigeria here, I don't know about other countries, most times you see people putting up receipts online about quarrels they've had with their vendors, okay? Very harsh words coming from vendors to clients and from clients to vendors. So that is communication. If you're just starting a business, you need to work on that aspect of yourself, communication. And as a family, what is how do you improve your communication? How do you work on your communication between spouses, between children, between members of the family? So communication plays a very important role, because when connection happens, remember we talked about emotion, when connection happens, the next thing that happens after that is information begins to flow from the two that has come together. So information could help people to build. Information could help people be on the same page when it comes to certain ideas, certain thing that they want to do. Information can help people improve. Information can help people heal. So today we are looking at how we can address, or we can reflect on the role communication play in how we want to step into 2026. What will communication do to improve whatever it is that you want to build? Okay? And how would you update your communication skills so that you gain clarity with the other person? How would you update your communication skill so that you are not offensive and whatever information you are trying to pass gets across to the other person? So that's today's reflection, being Wednesday, Mercury, the 4th day of our retreat. So I encourage you to also participate actively, because today being a communication, we are reflecting on communication. I want you to talk in the comment section. I want you to post maybe books that you have concerning how to improve communication, or whatever quote or whatever video clip you have from YouTube or other channels. You can post in the comment section. Let it be interactive. Let it not be that we are just dumping this information on you and you just view and scroll and waka pass, but it's an active thing, because communication has to do with, it's a ping pong thing. You give me, I give you, and in the end we make sense, we get synergy. So I thank you for giving us the precious gift of your time, for participating in this retreat. I thank you for watching to this point. Please share to young people who are trying to build, who are trying to find their way in life, because these things, they are very important. Before you stand up and begin to criticize government, criticize religion, or criticize whatever it is that you see is wrong in society, you have to be able to come up with these things yourself. You have to have checked all these boxes. For instance, if you want to improve Nigeria and suddenly someone put you in front of Tinubu, how can you communicate with someone of that level? Okay, so communication is very important. Or you've been thinking of a business and suddenly you run into an investor and you don't have the words for it. So this is what we are saying about communication. This kind of lessons, this kind of retreat is very important for young people who are just coming up, who are very, very disorganized, which is natural. But this kind of lessons help them to organize themselves, pick up traits that they will carry along in life and become very responsible adults and build their own thing. So I thank you very much for sharing it, for inviting people, for following the page, and for encouraging us to do more and to improve in what we are doing. Thank you very much, and let us communicate clearly with each other. See you in the next one.